11 minutes, and I'm not even joking. Like, if you're listening to this podcast, and this is kind of me talking to you, kind of talking to Sean Murphy right now, if we go past 11 minutes and we're still talking about that game, I'm just going to scream the rest of the time. So you might as well just stop at 11 minutes, because even if they're trying to make salient football points, if Kyle's saying the most brilliant thing ever, if Sean came up with the best, it'll be me screaming until blood flies out of my throat. We are not talking about this game for more than 11 minutes. I refuse to. So
and
you
this
have
is
10 minutes and 30
win.
seconds. Yeah. Oh, I didn't even really see.
Well, this could be the most listened to pod, because we get the humor and energy of a loss, but we won.
It does. The energy around this one is bad.
Well, let's start by saying this. I don't know if you guys remember. I don't know what your memory is like over there, but I said on the pod last week, my prediction, Kyle, if you remember this, I said the Bills are going to win a close game and the fan base is going to melt down. Call me Sean Stradamus, because I predicted it. You're welcome. This is why you listen to the pod, to get these good takes of things that will happen in the future from a smart football mind.
I do remember that. I actually taped the pods on cassette. Let me just go over and get that real quick. The Bills are going to win by 38 points. Lock it in the bank. I am Sean Murphy, and I guarantee it will happen. Come see me at the Laugh Barrel. I'm opening up for Chico the Zany Guy, 9 p.m. in the West Borough of Manhattan.
Oh, Chico's
not in Manhattan.
I don't even know what is going on.
Chico the Zany Guy. That's big. That's big for me.
He's huge on TikTok, so he's got a following. You'll like it. He's going to take you places.
Why?
I heard it differently. That's all I'm saying.
Why? I know the answer, but I want to hear it from Greg and Sean here. Yeah. Why did this one hurt? Why was this not fun? A Sunday night game at home, a win. Why was the game over and you were like not having fun?
Well, I mean, I'll start. You weren't there. That's why I knew the game was going to be a nail biter. They didn't have, screw Ed the firefighter from the Jets. We didn't have Kyle the firefighter for the Bills. They couldn't get motivated. They were asleep out there.
I want Kyle to stand up during periodic outtape times in Bills games and just go point like he's going to say something and just say, "Shut up." Like our Ed the fireman, it's Kyle the fireman, but he's just annoyed by all of that shit. Just calm the fuck down.
You could probably get a whole section if you start being like, hey, and people started looking at you like, just shut up. I'm trying to watch the game.
It's not Ken Dorsey's fault. Say something like that.
Hear me out.
Yes, hear me out. Well, we're gonna sign Lee Smith again. I'll tell you why. I did not get to see a lot of the game live. Big long story that'll be up. It'll be the blog for you Patreon members. Ooh. If you want to spend $1 a month, you'll hear about my stupid, boring journey.
Good tease.
Okay, so I was in airports during the Bills game because I mismanaged my time. But
that's
like going
Greg
back and
hangs out. He doesn't even have a flight.
Well, how else am I gonna cook up with the zany guy whose name I can't fucking remember from 30 minutes? I try and meet him when he comes off a plane, so he'll put me on his comedy shows.
Greg always says the best anchor bar is the anchor bar in the airport. So that's where he goes.
We ate there. That was our option Friday night when we left. We were leaving right from work to get on the plane. Anchor bar was it, and it's fucking just like, how the hell do you screw up chicken wings that bad? I know it's airport, but they're so fucking bad. But I'm not going to be airport guy. I'll leave that up to you two. But which doesn't make any sense. It's bad because they fucking suck. Like, they're so bad. There was no reason why the Bills didn't just win that game. Like, when I watch the highlights and stuff like that, it doesn't seem like Allen, I don't even know if you can consider them off. They just kept shitting their pants. It's just weird.
Well, it's interesting because Greg didn't see much of the game. I turned the game off at the 2-minute warning in the second quarter because I was like, you know what? I've had enough of this.
Really?
I can't. I think it's the only. I think the only.
You didn't go back.
Didn't go back. I watched TV
Good
and I
for
checked the
you,
score twice, and that was it. And the only other time I did this was the Skylar Thompson playoff game, because that loss would have been embarrassing. And I've watched this team throughout the years just be so bad, and now they're pretty good. And I could watch them be bad, but I can't watch them be bad consecutive weeks. And then the second week is against a bad team. Like it was just too much. And like I said, we've said this before, they're always beating themselves. Here's 3 things in a row that made me turn it off. Is they punted from the Giants 37-yard line. Go fuck yourself. Go.
I didn't even know that had happened.
Go fuck yourself. I don't care that was 4th and 10.
That was
You're
crazy.
on the Giants 37-yard line.
The announcers were a little. Did you like before
Mhm.
that? Before they decided to punt, the announcers are like, "This is about a 54-yard field goal." Like
Yeah.
just like, oh yeah, they'll probably kick the field goal. There's not a lot of wind tonight, and then they're like, "Oh, they're punting." Like the announcers are like, "Oh."
So
I didn't see that coming.
that's a question I was going to ask after you brought that up. Was there like wind? Why the hell did Tyler Bass miss 2 52-yard field goals? Just
He's out. Hold on.
Why don't you ask him, Greg?
He's not returning my calls.
He was
too. I can't get booked with Chico, the zany guy.
As longtime listeners will know, he was fantasizing beating Kyle up.
Yes,
that's probably why
he won't talk to me because Kyle wants to beat him up. He doesn't.
I think because he wears one eye strip, and it throws off his center of gravity. You got to equal out. You can't be having too much on one side.
I hope it's like just over slightly the next game. Like the bladder starts in the middle and goes almost to his nose. Just like kind of
Hold on, let me get to my 3 things.
Right? He puts something on there. He puts like John or Jebediah 1420 or something.
Oh, is it a John 3:16?
Yeah, but that's stone cold, so I don't think it's that.
No, John 3:16 is a very nice passage. It's not like
it's nice.
For God's
sake, it's not about killing children or flooding.
No, it's not like it's not about period blood
or
like that. This is not about many things that are in the Bible. Yeah, that's right.
Well, look
of that in the book.
Look if you see if Bass puts anything on there. Well, let me finish. These are 3 things that happened in a row that made me turn off the game. Yeah, they were struggling, but you had they punted from their own 37. Damian Harris got hurt terribly, which was crazy because I didn't even know he took the vaccine. Hello.
Oh, got him.
No, joking. But still, that was very sad. And then like 2 plays after, there was an interception. I was like, why am I doing this to myself? Like, I can't watch another full half of football of this. So I pieced out and I watched a TV show, and I had a better night.
Can we guess what you watched?
That's the rest of the podcast. Sure.
And I have a follow-up question. I'll ask my follow-up question first. Who do you like more, Rizzoli or Isles? And my guess on what you watched was Rizzoli and Isles.
Greg's TV references are all from 10 years ago. Let me guess. Did you watch Lost?
Don't tell me the ending.
My honest to God, I think Sean.
No, I thought you were going to tell me who's your favorite, Rizzoli or Isles.
No, I don't even know what you're talking about. I thought those were made up names. I think Sean is going this. We have never spoke about this. This is a complete guess. I think Sean is going through a Frasier rewatch because the new Frasier is coming out, and Sean seems like a guy who's like, I'll sit through, 10 seasons of Frasier because I got the time.
Great guess. I have never seen Frasier.
Really? Wow.
I mean, maybe on the background 5 minutes here and there.
Yeah. It wasn't Coach, right? You weren't watching. What is that show? Coach, the Coach.
Oh,
why are these?
Cheers? What are these references? Why would I be watching?
Coach was a show. Coach was a good.
Coach was a show.
Coach was a good show about a Washington State football coach that gets his program to the big time. Way ahead of his time. Super funny. I think you're talking about Cheers. Cheers was Frasier's a spinoff of Cheers. Frasier's a spinoff of Cheers. That's what I thought you were doing.
Should they remake Coach with Coach Prime?
That would be interesting.
It wouldn't be funny. He would get too motivational, and you're like, "Hey, this is a comedy." And he's like, "The youth."
Like, all right, we're going to talk about the Bills a little bit here.
Okay.
I want to talk about how if Kyle watched Coach, he would relate to Dauber. Oh, the
That's
offensive
his,
line
that's his little
blocks.
fun.
That's how he talks.
Here's why I'm mad.
Mm-hmm.
They stink. Plain and simple. Podcast over.
Oh, we have
Right
50 seconds where I start screaming. So wrap this up.
There is a reason I was talking about their offense last year. They talked about the offense all off season.
Yep.
And the offense is the reason that they have lost two games. How many games? What's their record? Four and 3.
4-2.
4-2. Their record, they should have lost. Their offense sucks. They have a top 3 quarterback, a top 5 wide receiver, and their offense still putters every now and then. And the biggest fear, and it's something Sean has brought up multiple times.
Oh, I'm getting some olive branches on this episode. Here we go.
They cannot string it together. They can make the playoffs. They will make the playoffs. They could destroy a team in the first round. They could destroy a team in the second round. But will they get to that? Can they destroy that team in the third round? They can't string together 4 games. It seems like without the offense sputtering. And you're not meeting the fucking Tyrod Taylor Giants in the playoffs. You have to be on your A game 3 to 4 games in a row. And I've said this in the past too, of like, I don't think McDermott's going to get rid of Dorsey midseason. That doesn't seem like a McDermott thing. Mm-hmm. But you can't have a fear of regressing stop you from trying to progress. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's interesting, the Dorsey thing. So I would have told you McDermott's never giving rid of anyone. Like Dorsey's going to stay, whatever. And whether or not I wanted that, it didn't really matter. Probably at this point, no, just because whatever. Just try something new. But it was interesting today. They were asking like Dorsey was available for questions, and I think it was a Zoom. I don't know if it was in person, but there's some questions being asked by Dorsey, like the draw play that we joke about, that where where Cook just stands there and Allen slowly walks over to him and points at him, is like, "You want this ball?" And James, "Oh, I'm not doing nothing. Okay, I'm going to hand you this ball." Oh, look, a defense. Someone asked them about that draw play specifically, and like referenced the fact that Thurman Thomas doesn't like it, and Dorsey had to fucking like answer that question. Like, when does it happen that the Bills offense coordinator has to answer questions like that?
It sounds like some reporters are listening to our podcast.
They're reaching out, or some Hall of Fame running backs. You never know what's up there.
Well, like this offense is, and I think this is why the fan base is so crazy right now, is it's just they either forget they can run the ball or they run every play. They either forget Diggs exist or they only throw to Diggs. Like there's no like middle ground with this. I mean, they started this game with like Murray as the starting running back essentially, and then listen, he's been pretty good this year. But then halfway through the second quarter, they're like, "Oh yeah, we have Cook," and they put him in. He got like 2 10-yard rushes in a row, and it's just like it's confounding what this team does like moment to moment. And like we said, obviously Kincaid was out this game, but like you have all these weapons that they supposedly love. Kincaid, first round pick. Knox is going to make $14 million next year. Gabe Davis, you upgraded the depth at your wide receivers, and they don't really use any of them at all.
This is something I talked about a couple weeks ago too, is like yesterday's stat line. You have Diggs, 16 targets, 10 receptions, 100 yards. That's like a standard Stephon Diggs. You throw a touchdown in there every other game, the guy's golden. Gabriel Davis has 3 receptions for 21 yards. That shouldn't be your number
his typical line every week.
And that's his normal line.
Unless he has like a nice long touchdown. And let's not forget, again, not to be anti Gabe Davis, so I hope they don't give him one of those kind of monster contracts this offseason. But like he had his once a game oopsies. Yeah. Which whether it's a drop or a fumble, it's like every couple games he's good for that, much more than a number 2 receiver should be. I feel
it's like. Just punched in the face on that fumble, but
that's true. Listen, it's just crazy. What I'm trying to say is I could be punched in the face and hang on to the ball.
I don't know.
I couldn't even make my way down to the field. Like, not as like to get good enough to be in the NFL. Like, if you just asked me, hey, meet me on the field, it's completely empty, I'd be like, man, I can't make it all the way down there. Look at all those stairs.
Greg, didn't you try to convince us you could play a zone
Yeah, if I have assistance getting onto the field, without a doubt.
Anyways, Dawson Knox, I know the throw at the end, bad throw. He also dropped it. It's a whole thing. But like both tight ends aren't catching any ball past 5 yards.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of, they're not even running routes down the field. Josh isn't throwing to him. And I've said this before, it's one of my biggest complaints, and I don't know much about anything. But there's no way Dorsey is writing up a bunch of plays where he's like, only look at Diggs. Like, there's just no way he's like creating an offense like that. I truly think Allen is just going the whole, just like what Rodgers did with Adams, was just like, I'm throwing him the ball. Every once in a while, I might toss it to someone else. But like, I think it's a big Dorsey problem. But Allen is not out of my blame radius, because I think he solely relies on Diggs and then almost gives up on everyone else.
We have a new segment of the show, Blame Radius. Kyle's Blame Radius.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Records. Who's in the Blame Radius today? I love that term.
Kyle, did you hear anything through the grapevine? I know you didn't go to the game, but I don't know if
does the grapevine extend to your home?
I don't like green grapes, so I'm not that type of grape vine guy.
And you've heard it.
I'm not hanging out in those vineyards.
I just want this offense to have a higher floor. Like, they go from a 10 out of 10, just fucking people over. And
also,
then the next game, they're a 2 out of 10. And it's like, hey man, just give me some 6 out of 10s here and there. Just show some basic level competency. Because
I'm not asking you're not asking them to put up 45 on the Giants. Right. But don't have it be 14-9 with Tyrod on the goal line with 1 second left.
Yeah, and that's the thing that, again, to my major point of the season, that scares me, is you're going to have 4 playoff games in a row probably. And one of those 4 games, I just feel like they're going to be in this Bills offense funk where they're like, we put up 10 points this game. And it's like, you can't, like, the floor needs to be higher than that.
Yeah, you can. And the thing I hate, I want to go, this is a small little rant here, just a tiny baby rant. I don't want to hear anything about how the Eagles lost to the Jets.
I wrote this down. I have the same baby rant. I'll piggyback after you.
I don't want to hear anything about how, it's a week to week, you just move on to the next week. That's fucking loser bullshit mentality. Who gives a fuck that the Eagles lost to the Jets? Who cares? So did we. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean you can expect more from your fucking top 5 offense to be better. Don't look at what other teams have done and be like, well, it's okay that the Bills suck sometimes because the Eagles also suck sometimes. Like, it's not okay to suck.
And also, more important, even if you look at those numbers, the Jets D is good. The Giants D was decimated all year long. Look at what people did against the Giants. Cowboys, 40 points. Dolphins, 31. Cardinals, 28. And then you look at the big picture on us. The offense was good in the Dolphins and Raiders game, 2 games. Okay in Washington. And then they were terrible against the Giants, Jets, and Jags. So, like, half of the games, the offense has been terrible, and they're fully healthy. That ain't going to be sustainable long term.
No.
As someone who didn't see the entire game, I have some positive things. Can't give you like a boner. I can give you a little kind of chub. That friggin' throw to Quentin Morris, it's fucking unbelievable. Like, the touchdown to Quentin Morris is one of the most incredible football plays we'll see. And we just kind of like take that for granted, how good he is on plays like that. That was just art. The defense is going to be the problem down the road for the playoffs. Like, that's what we're worried about, because they lost Milano and Trey and Daquan Jones, and they didn't allow a touchdown, made a couple of goal line stands. And this is a game where those young kids could like learn. Maybe Dane Jackson comes back and we never have to see Kyrie Elam again. That'd be great.
Who looked
So
okay. And granted, the Giants receivers aren't world beaters, but he was certainly better this week than the week before.
he made me nervous, but in the little that I did see of him. But anyways, hopefully he won't be as big of a problem because you get Dane Jackson back and all that's hunky dory and stuff like that. So those are the positives.
And I also wrote down, because normally we said before, I think this was a Kyle idea, one of his few good ones. Normally during losses, we do a kind of optimism corner, right? So this wasn't a loss, but I think we need.
You're just raking in the cash on all of these paid segments.
I think we need a little optimism here, and I got some for us. Okay, number one,
we're all gonna die.
Eventually, it'll all be over. Number one, the Dolphins, who we beat, they're the hot team this year in the AFC. Their wins this year came against teams that are combined 4-22. So they haven't played anyone real yet other than us, who they lost to. And optimism number two, Bills offense this year. And I know they're still off. We talked about this last year, but if you look at the stats, Bills offense this year, 3rd in points per game, 5th in yards per game, 2nd in yards per play, 2nd in red zone, 2nd on 3rd downs. All pretty good. And then optimism number three is, I think the smart idea this team is hopefully implementing is they're saving Allen to rush more in the playoffs. I think you get into the playoffs, and whether or not this team's in a funk or not, it's going to be a completely different offense because they're going to let Allen off the leash more.
Sean, I saw AFC Championship game. I saw the first play from scrimmage, a designed run sweep by Allen that gains like 28 yards. I just see that happening because then they're all fucked up because they're just not doing it all season. And then you show them that. And then even the team you play in the Super Bowl, if you make it. So this is me being a little starry-eyed crazy, but like I can definitely see that happening. Maybe Dorsey's just saving all of his good plays. He's got a little folder. He's got a little blue folder with a top secret on his like good plays. And every game he gets to his desk and he lays everything. He's like, oh shit, I left my folder of good plays home. And then he pulls out another folder. It's kind of tattered. It says bad play. And he opens it up and it's hand the ball to James Cook out of a shotgun on a draw.
Do we as Greg said, we should start wrapping up. Any other Giants thoughts on this game in particular? Everyone's talking about the hold on the last play. I think the refs, from what I saw, granted I only saw the first half, but I think the refs were more kind to us than they were against us.
I think the season's brutal. I watched the Monday night game, and it's just every time I watch football, it's really, really gotten out of hand. It just seems that it's just nothing with flags. And it's kind of driving me crazy. Like last night, I wanted who the Chargers playing last night? Dallas. I wanted Dallas to win just for the AFC implications, but it was just at one point, even if the flag helped the Cowboys, it's like, come on, it's like every play.
But I also hate, which is almost like a indicative of more problems in America, but people watch that last play on like Twitter and they go, that was a hold, the Giants got screwed. And you're like, yeah, but there was a full game that was played. I mean, literally the third play from scrimmage, a Giants guy grabbed Gabe Davis on a long bomb and it wasn't called PI. Like they were bad all the way around. I think even more so to the Giants than to us, but like there were missed calls all over that field all night. It's not like they just screwed up that 1 second that was indicative of the whole game.
Everyone remembers wide right. No one remembers Mark Ingram getting 18 yards on a 3rd and 18 to set up, first down that bled the clock out that made the Bills lose that game. It was like 4 missed tackles by the entire Bills defense that led to that loss.
Which quick funny story, if I could. I was watching the beginning of the game with my girlfriend, and that third play from scrimmage, long bomb to Gabe Davis. He like falls down, and Collinsworth goes like, it's a classic case of them getting their legs tangled. And then we watched the replay, and she's like, but their legs weren't tangled. The guy grabbed him by his legs and pulled him down. I'm like, you're already better than Chris Collinsworth. This is like your first time watching football, and you're already better than this guy. This guy came up with a conclusion, said it, watched the replay, and did not change his mind based on the lack of evidence in the replay.
That's hilarious.
One last thing from me. What did you guys make of the video going around of Dable and McDermott kind of being cold shoulder to each other.
Oh, when I first saw that, the handshake, I didn't see it. No one said it in a negative connotation. Someone just like quick hand exchange between Dable and McDermott after the game. And honestly, I didn't remember bad blood stories. I just thought, I think if you're them, you actually before the game, since you probably talk, are like, hey, just do a fucking quick hand. Like, I don't want to do a big midfield thing.
There were stories about them not like really enjoying.
I didn't
each other's
remember them
company
though.
over
When I
there.
first saw it, I thought, oh, that's actually probably predetermined. And then I was like, oh yeah, they did have bad blood. So I don't know. Stupid.
Yeah, I could buy it. I mean, I could also buy that maybe they talked before the game and there was a long, shitty game where they were both mad at their teams. And just like neither, I could buy the tea leaves, but if it wasn't the case, that also would not surprise me.
When I make it big by riding the coattails of Chico the Zany guy, and in the hunt at public appearances, we're going to set it up ahead of time where it's like me and Kyle are going to act standoffish, and it's about the Avatar football thing, and everyone's going to be like, "Oh, did you see Kyle and Greg? They're still mad about Avatar."
Well, it's smart because, like, no, if you listen to that one Patreon, subscribe to the Patreon.
They're
And
going to listen to that one.
if you listen to that one episode, Kyle thinks there's going to be a future of Avatar football. Greg does not. Kyle gets a little angry at him. I think
then they're going to listen.
Blood.
They're going to listen like 2 episodes ago where Kyle just ripped me apart like the entire episode. I was crying afterwards. So he's still mad.
A couple quick hits before we get to our sponsor. Glad Damian Harris seems okay, and the fact that he has, like, I don't know if he'll be back this year, but also crazy to remember Dane Jackson had a similar thing last year and was back like 4 weeks later, which is crazy. But glad to see he seems to be okay. Love Tyrod. Glad he, classic Tyrod game where he didn't really light up the field but kept his team in it. Crazy that they reached our 1 yard line at the end of both halves and came out with 0 points. That's just a crazy thing for a team to have happen. Like, we should have lost that game.
Tim Graham had an article about it on The Athletic, like the number of things that like teams were 138-0 in games where they rushed for more yards, passed for more yards, gave up fewer fumbles, gave up fewer interceptions, had like time of like all of these things. It was 138-0 until last night's Bills game. They should not have won the game, basically.
Yeah. And let's go to Greg. You want to talk about the sponsor?
Sure.
Our sponsor for the year?
You're talking about Revolver Records with 4 locations. The locations you should go to get cool vinyl, cool music. Go search the record store. Discover a new band or pick up a record of your favorite band that you haven't listened to in a long time. Don't go on the internet. Go to Revolver Records. And if you do have to go on the internet, like because you're out of town or something, but you still want to support Revolver Records, I have good news for you. If you go to revolverrecordsinc.com and make purchases, fill out the promo code INTHEHUNT10, and you get 10% off your online purchase of cool music. And Chico the Zany guy's got a live album there. That's at Revolver Records. Hit them up.
You want
on MySpace. Yes, you want it. You don't want to miss it. I ain't gonna give anything away. Let's just say, dude is zany.
And if you have any extra, coins left over after you bought some records, go to our Patreon, patreon.com/inthehunt. We have like 75, I think, bonus episodes up. You can support us as little as $1 a month. That's nothing. I mean, give us $1 a month. You love the pod. You support it. Look at Kyle. He's wasting away over there.
Doing burpees all morning.
Yeah,
I am.
he's working hard, and the rest of us are just trying to keep up with his new shredded physique. We need that money to help.
You can watch me slowly lose my sanity week by week through my blogs and read about what happened to me during the Bills game.
There you go.
My journey through 2 airports.
And before we get to the trivia game, I have a little surprise here.
It's Chico the Zany guy live via satellite.
Never want to hear this again.
We have a segment from our 4th favorite Italian gambler, Louie Gee.
What? It's been a while. Well, it's been a while.
Oh, no.
Since Louie the gambler did a segment.
So here it is. For any new listeners, we have our 4th favorite Italian gambler, Louie Gee, regular on this podcast. He sends us segments sometimes, and
but complains about not getting on the podcast all the time.
Yeah, that's half of his segment is now complaining about not being on the podcast more. But here we go. Here's the segment.
Hey guys, it's me, it's Louie Gee. It's been a while here. Don't mind that loud music in the background. My mom is just getting ready for work, so she likes to just listen to her pump up music to get excited. Speaking of getting excited, if you guys had been allowing me to be on the podcast all year, you'd realize how great I've been doing in fantasy football this year. I know that's like different types of gambling, but it's got there's a tournament with 667,000 entries that I am currently in 5th place for. First prize is $3.5 million, and when I win that prize, I'm going to pay all of your listeners to send you guys emails to make sure that I'm part of every single episode. Not just 1.5 minute bullshit, but like 2.5 minutes bullshit. And next time I'll tell my mom not to play the music. So yeah. This week, though, if your listeners want to make a little bit of extra cash, 2 things we got to do. We got to play the over in the Taylor Badgett, Aiden O'Connell Bowl, Las Vegas and Chicago. We got to play that over because what else is going to happen in that game? It's going to be like, everyone thinks it's going to suck. It's going to be like 55-51, and they're going to be Hall of Fame quarterbacks. And then the second one you're going to have to play is the Indianapolis Colts +3 at home against the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland just had their biggest win of the year, upsetting San Francisco. Now they play against Gardner Minshew, and everybody's just going to be like, oh yeah, let's bet them because that sucks. And Gardner Minshew's going to go off for fucking like 400 yards or whatever. All right, Mom. All right, I got to go. Go Bills.
Louis smart to like blow the horn now because he has Puka and Anthony Richardson on his team, and there's just no way you can hold on to that. Like, you need so much luck.
I want nothing more than for Lou to win that $3.5 million, not pay taxes, blow through the other half, then go to jail, all in the same year. That's going to be, if Lou wins this $3.5 million, the over under we should bet on how many months until he's broke again. That's the true bet.
I tell you, a classic Louie Gee segment recorded in the middle of, I don't know, what, Taylor Swift concert for some reason with super loud music. He, gives pretty intense predictions, like Gardner Minshew is going to throw for 400 yards, and mostly complains about not getting more segments. So
on the segment we give him.
Yes, correct. So that, if you want to make some money, quote unquote, there's some Louie Gee picks. I will say something I learned. Speaking of, I don't want to one-up Louie Gee here, Shawnee G, but I saw this stat: 11 of 11 teams coming back from London have been either tied or trailing in the fourth quarter the following week when they don't take that bye. So the Ravens play the Lions this week. Could be good to put some money on the Lions.
Headline: London fog.
There you go. Okay.
I like Peaky Blinders. It's a good show.
Maybe Peaky Binders because they're binded, like they don't do well in the beginning, so they get a Peaky Binder. We're workshopping. Dude, this is what me and Chico the Danny Guy do. We'll just sit in a room and just fucking riff. Like, you have no idea how much fun it is. He's so good.
Okay, are we ready for the trivia game?
Kyle looks like he would punch me, like, not a joke. Like, he looks like he would just haul off and punch me, and not for fun. Not that
Kyle's
frat
over
boy
it.
tap. Like, he would just put me down.
This is how Kyle looked during the Avatar debate.
I am very sick of the Chico line.
No, I'm done. I won't say it. You get to know someone, you should not push their buttons. That's how me and Chico are. We just you just know not to push those buttons. He's zany, but sometimes he gets a little angry. We joke all the time about
game.
Okay, the jersey on the line. Get yourself a nice Puna Ford jersey.
Ooh, did he play?
I think he's not having a great season, which goes to show you fans get excited about those big summer signings. mainly because there's nothing else going on. And some of them are good. You know, Floyd has been good so far, but for every Leonard Floyd, there's like
Floyd's been insane.
But for every Leonard Floyd, there's like
Good.
3 Puna Fords. You know what I'm saying? Like
Puna
Hopkins has
Ford,
been
more like Puna Chevy. So you thought I was going to say like Pooh Ford, but instead I changed the car.
I thought you were gonna say Puna Chico. I was gonna leave.
All right, trivia. I'm done.
okay. All right. One question. We haven't done this in a while. You're gonna go back and forth, naming Bills players whose last name starts with a T.
Damn it.
There's about 13 gettable ones, maybe more. And we're gonna start with let's start with Kyle because he had to put up with all those jokes Greg.
That's very nice
making.
of you. Yes.
So we're gonna start with Kyle and go back and forth here.
P, huh?
Yes.
2 have been mentioned on the podcast just to help.
I'll give hints after round
branching.
1. You gotta have one.
Yeah, of course. I have one.
Yeah.
There's
He's not kidding, folks. He cannot think.
Timothy.
Oh, you're still doing good. Like you're doing good. You got it. It's right there.
A T.
A T. Last name T.
Yes, last name T.
Think of some here. I'll give you one that I know Greg already has. Think of one of the most famous Bills players of all time. Think of who's up there on the wall.
Thurman Thomas.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Suck it, Greg.
Tyrod Taylor.
Yep.
Take the other easy one because I got a good one lined up.
Okay, well, I'll give you after round 1. Let me give you some hints. I think you got a couple quarterbacks. You have another. I think if you have another maybe
Jeff Toole.
What?
Unbelievable. Let me finish the hits. You got another maybe couple Wall of Fame players. You have one current Bill, and you have a Kyle hated Bill. So there's a couple hints for you there. Greg, you got one?
Yeah, Tim Tyndale.
Excuse me?
Tim Tyndale, Canadian running back.
Tyndale.
Tim Tyndale.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep. Tim Tyndale.
No way.
Tim.
100%. He's a Canadian running back. Giant forearms, number 44. He actually had one good game.
95 to 97, running back for the Bills. So Kyle, I'll go over those hints again. One current Bill, some quarterbacks, probably 2 Wall of Fame members, bigger Bills players, both from the mid to late 90s. And one of your most hated Bills from the time of the podcast. And a
Lee
big
Smith
bust.
starts with an S. And Tremaine Edwards starts with an E. I wonder who you're talking about. I can't wait to see who you're talking about.
I honest
I'm going to say something.
No idea.
I'm going to say something. I have 3 names written down. There's no way Kyle's going to get 3.
No way.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
You win, Greg.
Well, I have to name one. Billy Joe Gunner. Billy Joe Tolliver. So, yeah. Should I not have done that?
Mike
I have to win. To win.
Oh, he got one. He got Tolbert.
All right. We'll keep it alive.
Okay.
This is where Greg.
And I did not have Tyke Tolbert
right,
on my list, though. I did not have Tyke Tolbert on my list. So now I will say Billy Joe Tolliver, the quarterback that forgot the playbook.
No, wasn't that Billy Joe Hobart?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Did I get it wrong? Did I just lose?
Yes.
I'll let you go to the next name. No, I'll let you go to the next
Billy
name.
Joe Hobart. The problem is I call him Billy Joe Gunrack. That's what he calls. So yeah.
Well, go to your next name.
Trey Teague.
Oh, what?
Wow.
He's a tackle.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Incredible.
That's a crazy pull.
Kyle, do you think you could pull another one? You got Tolbert was your kind of most hated, your original Lee Smith.
Yeah.
You got some obscure quarterbacks, some big 90s players, and one current Bill. on the offensive side of the ball.
Ah, boy.
And one of the biggest busts in Bills history on the defensive side of the ball.
Biggest bust history.
Thinking about that. What was his name?
I don't know. I'm telling
Oh,
you.
I'm thinking of the Saber. The biggest bust in Sabres history. His actual name was Morris Titanic. Like he was a giant bust, and his last name was Titanic. That was a first round overall draft pick for the Sabres.
Well,
And I have his
Kyle's
autograph on a hockey stick.
Greg, hit us with your
Steve
name.
Tasker.
You got what?
Oh,
Steve Tasker.
Yep.
that makes sense.
Did you have any others you want? Do you want to flex with before?
No,
I
I had the three. I got Tolliver wrong. It was a friggin' Charger. So if I had to think about it, who's the quarterback? Like,
well, you got a couple. Let me go through. Let me go through them all. So Greg wins. You get the Poonaford jersey.
what
Congratulations.
The hell was that? No, Hamden. Tool was a good poll. I couldn't get that, boy.
Okay, here we go.
This is torturing people.
The other
this is worse than Zany.
The other 90s Bill was Daryl Talley.
Oh yeah, just my favorite player of all time. Yeah.
Some of the let's see, Wyatt Teller was a possibility. A quarterback, Tyler Thigpen. You have
would have never gotten Tyler.
Tight end Logan Thomas.
Yeah.
Speaking of Thomas, you already mentioned Thomas.
They got a bunch of Thomases. They had another one. They had a corner back in the Super Bowl era teams. Thomas. What the hell is his last
There's
name?
a bunch of Thomas on there. There's a Josh Thomas. There's a
That's not him.
Shamarko Thomas. There's
that's not him.
There's a lot on there. You could have just thrown a name to Thomas and you might have got a Corey Thompson. We got a Traverse Tillman. The current Bill, Osiris Torrance.
I always put an O in front of his name.
One of the biggest busts on the defensive side, Terrell Troop is who I was referring to, and another quarterback was Kyle's brother in titty kissing, Mitchell Trubisky.
Mitchy Biscuits.
What?
He had that tweet about how he loves kissing titties.
Yeah, I didn't tweet that though.
Yeah, but I know you retweeted it. I know you.
I mean, I agree with the tweet.
Yeah, it was your tweet of the game every week for a year. Oh, did you have a tweet of the game, or just?
No, we're done.
I did. It sucked. The whole X sucks. No one tweets anything good anymore.
That's fair.
Everything's blood or whatever.
Okay, next week at Patriots, another game we gotta win, or else the fan base melts down. Our last 1 o'clock game until December 31st. Gross.
Hate it.
Yep. We're on the record here of hating that. Kyle, do you have a key to the game to beating these? You better have a key to the game.
I didn't. I thought we were playing the Chargers. So I did not have a key to the game until I looked 3 minutes ago before trivia, which is why I was barely paying attention for trivia.
Good.
Because I was like, oh shit, we're not playing the Chargers. We are playing the Patriots, which means, Greg, the key to the game.
Oh, okay.
No, the key to the game is obviously you have to tell Bill Belichick yo mama jokes. So
the Patriots, yes. I kind of forget about this.
It's one of the best and maybe the only good thing of the pod. It really is. 2 times a year we do yo mama jokes. Although they don't feel as good now that they're absolutely terrible. It feels like the yo mama jokes have worked over the years.
Yeah.
But also fuck them.
Kick them when they're down. Kick them when they're down.
Yeah.
So obviously I have a couple yo mama jokes that we could tell Bill Belichick to throw him off his game. The first one, I think it's one of my favorite ones I've ever read, actually. Yo mama's so fat, when she goes camping, the bears hide their food.
That is good.
It's a good one, right?
That's fucking tremendous. He would have to laugh at that. Like in real life, if you got on the field and told him that, he would have to laugh.
The next one is Yo Mama's so ugly. Her birth certificate is an apology letter.
So stupid.
That's so good.
Well, you know what? I think one
I'm
of the
seeing
Bills
little
players,
bears tie their honey things up in the fucking bags and hanging them high, so Yo Mama can't get at them.
Then
I
they wake
think-
up the next day and they're all on the ground scattered. They're like, she got into it. Damn it.
You can't stop her. She just needs that food.
I think the Bills players / coaching staff, they follow Kyle's key to the game. They tell Bill Belichick these Yo Mama jokes. It devastates him. He's even worse than he's been the rest of the season. And we don't talk enough about how the Patriots stink now, and it's great. That's the true silver lining of the modern day NFL. And I think the Bills put it together at least a little bit. I'm going to say 24-10 Bills.
Is that a blowout enough? I don't
That is
care.
a
This
little bit.
podcast, like we try to end it. There's like 15 more things you got to do every time we try to end it. So Bills
true.
win 35-14.
I think Ken Dorsey, I think he's feeling the heat. I believe I read it was a quote, but I think basically McDermott said something after yesterday's game or whatever game, Sunday night's game, about the offense has been in sync like twice this year, I think he said, or something
Which is
along
true.
those lines. And I mean, he's just saying that shit out at the media now. I think Ken Dorsey's feeling it. I think he comes out swinging, and the Bills score 10 points, and the Patriots win 51-10.
No wonder Davo might not like him. It's like, imagine if after every podcast I was like, Kyle's been on fire 2 times this year. He just doesn't get it together. He's not in sync. He doesn't
I'm
have it
telling
getting
you, if
together.
there's no Yo Mama jokes, he really stinks.
Well, that's the pod. I think it was okay. I give ourselves a B. It was kind of like the Giants game. We got to win, but we could have been a little sharper.
Yeah.
But we had some.
Also, you got to knock us down a grade. We are a day late
That's
to
true.
a recording a podcast about a game that nobody wants to think about anymore.
It's true.
It'll
Numbers
be,
should be through the roof.
it'll be reflected in the clicks.
It's true.
All
But
right.
you know what? We thank you for listening. Sign up for the Patreon. Go to Revolver Records, and we'll see you next week, hopefully after a big Patriots win or a Patriots loss, in which we will be the saddest and angriest you've maybe ever seen us.
The Sweeto. Play the sad song, not the happy one.
Oh, okay.
The bills make me wanna cry. Kick my heels up and cry. Throw my hands up and die. Come on, the bills are giving it their best try. So curl up in a ball and cry. Say you will. Hey.